Xbox just shared the June update, and I gotta tell you, there's even more packed in this. It has been a pretty wild month in the world of Xbox because we had the Xbox and AMD partnership announcement where they said multiple stores, multiple pieces of hardware, multiple chipsets, and AMD came back and said, yeah, that's all accurate. We're building a lot of cool stuff and a lot of different pieces of hardware that are going to be part of the next generation of Xbox experiences. And then today, Xbox came out and said, hey, we have a June update and it's packed with things. And so if you jumped into your time machine just a few weeks, maybe it's a little longer than that, you may have remembered this image where there was a Steam button on the Xbox app. I won't say dashboard, but this is definitely the Xbox app. And then Microsoft kind of quietly pulled that and said, no, just pay no attention to the Steam library behind the curtain or whatever the meme is. However, let's dive into the update this month because there's a lot to talk about, including these third-party stores that are coming to the Xbox app. So first up here, the Copilot gaming companion. Xbox has talked about this bringing more AI. Now this is a what they would call a second screen experience where you've got to have your phone right next to your noggin and say, hey, how do I do something or whatever in Doom or Indiana Jones? And then it will try to help walk you through that. Remember all those, oh man, I miss those things. Those, you'd buy the magazine, the tutorials, and you have to flip through them. Long gone are those days. You don't even have to Google search anymore, or at least according to Microsoft saying that it should work pretty well along those same lines. However, the big news of this June update is this aggregated gaming library. Now, currently, and I say currently, and I think you know where this is going, Xbox insiders can preview the new aggregated gaming library in the Xbox PC app for Windows and handheld devices. This holiday, the feature will be available on the ROG Xbox Ally and Ally X. With the aggregated gaming library, players can conveniently launch games from Xbox Game Pass, Battle.net, and other leading PC storefronts from a single library within the Xbox PC app. Whether you're on PC, a Windows PC, or a handheld device, your Xbox library and blah, 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 and all these titles can all be launched from the same thing. Now, obviously, they don't mention Steam there, probably for various reasons, but they also don't mention the Epic Game Store. So, there are other things left out there. And what this is doing, as exactly as the name suggests, it's aggregating your game library. Now, this is only for the Xbox app, but like if you put together literally everything that Xbox has been telling us, hey, the next PC or next Xbox is probably going to be more PC-like. And like then Microsoft comes out and says, hey, the Xbox app will now let you aggregate third-party titles or third-party launcher titles within your own Xbox app. And like the whole narrative is just kind of painting itself right in front of us. It's not hard to imagine that the next generation Xbox console, whatever it may or may not look like, but we believe it'll be running more Windows-like experience with something kind of like what you see here from the ROG Ally X, but maybe a little bit more embedded, if you will. However, it sounds like you're going to be able to run those Steam games potentially from that experience. Now, Microsoft, until they officially announce all this, it is still just sort of speculation. But like all the bits and pieces are now there, right? We have Xbox, AMD, we have everything that they're talking about. And then they just come out and say, oh yeah, the Xbox app now aggregates all that stuff. Now, there's a lot to take away from this because just because it shows it doesn't mean it's like fully integrated, if that makes sense. The worst case scenario is like, oh gosh, you could launch your Steam title, then it opens Steam, and then it opens the EA. Like you could go down a lot of rabbit holes of launchers launching. But this is like the first step in like bringing that stuff in house. Now, they obviously don't mention Steam, and there's the internet obviously did what the internet said and said like they can't go off there because there's Sony PlayStation games on there and they don't want that. No, like I think you're way overreading that. I mean, this is just surfacing up information that's already within the file system that is on Windows itself, so it's super easy to do. And Xbox is by far not the first company to do this, but it's just more of, it's like, you got to understand, this is Xbox. This isn't some random third-party company just saying, look, we built a launcher. This is Xbox. This is Windows. This is Microsoft saying, look, we're going to bring the Steam titles right into the Xbox app, allow you to launch them from within the Xbox experience. And it's Microsoft putting another little planted flag, if you will, on how they continue to try to craft their own sort of next generation gaming narrative. Again, it's just one small piece of the next gen puzzle, I believe. So also announced and coming is a publisher channel here. And so that's not that big of a deal. You probably have seen this again, probably on that little platform called Steam, where if you like a particular publisher, then you can go browse all their titles much easier. Also, publishers love this because then they can promote all their titles within, right, a same cohesive UI. They can also buy advertising space to push people to their publisher page and all that sort of thing. It's a known thing in the industry, nothing too crazy there, but again, just things to pay attention to. Now, next up here is the most recently used customization section. Recently played games and apps and list on the home. I'm not going to read all that. But anyways, you're getting more customization. It'll be in the games and apps section of the setting, allowing you to further control. Also, I've seen it, had several friends I play with. You know the little game hub thing that comes up? I don't think that's going to go over super well, and hopefully it gets turned off by default here. But anyways, in the settings and games app era, you can also turn that off if you don't like that. And I'm personally one of those people who do not like it because it's just another button press to get to my game. Now, somebody will say, but Brad, all you gotta do is just double tap A, and it's like, that's not the point. Like, you're moving the cheese around. Stop moving my cheese around, and life will be good. Also, this is actually pretty important as well. The Xbox Cloud Gaming save improvements. Now it's going to actually show you how and where it's saving, and also the device, because people have complaints like, hey, my save didn't upload from my device or whatever else, and I don't know what's going on. And so this gives you more contextual clues about where the failure in the chain of events actually occurred and how you can see things. And so if you play Xbox a lot on the cloud and you're not seeing your saves and you're trying to hunt down like what device doesn't have great connectivity or something along those lines and not doing the proper saves, now you will have more once this June update rolls out. But I'm still kind of locked into this whole idea of these third-party game stores. Remember, even Sarah Bond said it during her thing this month. He's like, we're talking about multiple stores. So Xbox, like the real big deal that a lot of people also point out is like, hey, if they start promoting Xbox content or games on the Steam store, they lose that 30% cut. That is very true. I think Microsoft's big agenda here is just to get people to open the Xbox app. Why do they want people to open the Xbox app? Because it's like, oh, then we can show them ads. We can try to get them into Game Pass. And then they're trying to bring these things all in-house. And Microsoft is in a particular precarious place because they can't fight the battle that is Steam, right? They can't just come out and say, like, we're going to beat Steam. Like, they kind of tried that at one point with the Windows Store, and it just didn't work. And so they have a couple options. Like, they can just ignore that it exists, or they know that their people are playing Steam games on the PC. So why not build an experience to try to get them in-house inside their own app and then try to get them into Game Pass? Because then you could advertise out, hey, look what's going on. Because if you're using their app and it's pulling in those titles, they can begin to kind of... it would not surprise me. I do not know this definitively, also because I don't have the app installed that has this functionality. You'd have to imagine that they're kind of scraping the data and seeing like what games you're there, and then they can try to promote Game Pass related to that type of user at the end of the day. Because again, if it's in Game Pass, it might be a better value for you to sign up for that than downloading and paying for a game. Or they can try to push the right types of games in your direction to get you, again, to sign up. Microsoft has decided not to fight itself upstream, and I think that's a smart move. So anyways, that is the June update. It's going to be pretty massive, maybe not for everybody, but that, again, bringing third-party store content into the Xbox app is a pretty big deal. And if you like big deals, make sure to keep it subscribed here, because on the BS on this channel is me.